Well, today might be the day. Let's see what we can find out. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man, and today I decided it was time to investigate what the issue is with this 2844 Hart-Parr. So we have our new roof above, and this seems like a good enough time where this could be out of the way that I can take it apart a little bit and weather won't get in it. So that's what we're gonna do. When I got this home several years ago by now, it did in fact turn about a quarter of a turn, and I believe it still does that. But what I think is the issue, I think that there is trash sitting on top of a piston, and as it comes around it compresses in there and then it won't let it go any farther. And what I think it is a combination of rusty pieces and maybe some acorns or whatever, if animals have carried it in there. I've had that happen before on a tractor, but that's what it acts like. It acts like you can go part way around and then you hit something and then you got to go back. So step one is going to be to take off this very terrible condition manifold. Probably the worst I have encountered on my travels. I don't know. And so if anybody knows where there's one for a 2844, I will probably be in the market for one. I know you can get one new or reproduction for like a I don't know, a 90 or 99, but it's made a little bit different, and I don't know that it's going to work. Basically what you have here is your intake tube goes up through, and then there was a box where like it used exhaust gas to heat this up. And that wouldn't be a big deal to run it like this, other than it would just be running open and not going up. But it's also cracked on the intake part. So at the very least, if I'm going to try to run it, I'm going to have to try to seal that up. I think it's going to mess with the ability to pull through the carburetor, you see. And I don't know that that's going to work that way. So I'm still going to have something better. But anyway, step one is going to get this off, and then I assume we're going to end up pulling the head, you know, unless there's something where I can suck it through with a shop vac or something out of one of the ports. But I think it's probably just as good to pull the head. So that's my vision for where this is headed. Now what we end up doing, you never know, so we'll see. So I did do some thinking ahead for a change. And when I shoved this in here, I soaked it all down with some magical penetrating lubricant in hopes that maybe some of this stuff would come loose and not just twist off. So that's going to be our next order of operations here. I know that this carburetor is going to have attention, because there's just no way that this is going to work, you know. We've been around long enough. We know. It's even got the farmer's friend silicone smeared all over it. So we know that it's going to work correctly. Well, there we got some action here coming loose. I don't know what's going to become of this, but our goal would be to get it totally apart without twisting anything off. But we know better of what types of things happen, so I don't know. Okay, well, it's taking its sweet time. But I want to make sure I get this carburetor loose first so I don't forget and end up destroying it, you know. I see we also have a homemade gasket of some sorts. I'm gonna have to set you down, I guess. Alright. Why don't you come the rest of the way? You like how I put you right in the way of the wrench so that it hits when it comes around? That's because I'm always thinking. I'm not thinking correctly, but at least I'm thinking. Oh, come on. Come on, you rusty relic. Let's go. Now we should probably take note of things so we don't screw it up later. But it looks like, because this must go through the block and run the governor on the other side. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Somebody's already got the bottom loose, because I would say they've had this apart before. So, we might slap her back together and see if it runs, but kind of conditions kind of look doubtful, you know. I should probably put something over that hole just to keep out any of the trash, which is inevitably going to come down upon it from messing with the... Will that lay in there? Sure. Okay. All right, let's go up top. So when I got this, it was missing stuff. You saw the fenders I got. I also got this, which is a similar style air stack. This is actually off of like a GP John Deere, and I believe they're made by the same company, this piece, because it looks the same. So we need to do some extending and whatever when we get to that point to make it go. I think my hood is homemade, but at least it's something. And I laid this heavy plate over here to hopefully keep water from going in there, but I really don't think that that was a risk. As you can see mostly daylight through there. That's probably a good thing. See, it was not like that when I got it. When I started messing with it, then that hole opened up. So it may have still been enough that it was letting water out instead of holding it in, but whatever. Let's start in, see if we can get our bolts loose. And I can see right now that I should have brought a wrench because I don't think I can get a socket back in there. All right, is this the size? Maybe. That's the size of one of them. Ooh, it's actually turning out. Nifty. Okay, that one I think I'll get. This is a 3/4. I'm gonna try the one behind you. I think it'll come out. I think someone's had this apart because it's got a homemade looking gasket in it too. All right, now I guess I'll go get a 3/4 wrench so that I can fit it between in here and get those loose. All right. Uh-oh. This one's gonna be a problem. Shoot. That is, well, there we got it to go a little bit in both directions. However, I like that it wants to come, it'll go tighter easier than it'll go loose. I don't know why. Probably because I want it to. Let's let that soak a minute. Let's switch to the other one. which is going to be hard to get to now, I see. Okay. Okay, come on. You can do it. Let's go back and forth until we get some progress. Oh, yeah. There we go. So that one was the only one that still had a stud, and I guess that was probably original. And the rest of these are probably replacements? I don't know. Although I would bet that that is an original bolt. So maybe the inner two had nuts, or studs, what I'm saying, and then that would make sense. You could hang it in there on there, because those two actually go through the manifold. It's also interesting to note that over here we have a chunk of wire holding on what looks like the remnants of a spring. And then over here we have a chunk of wire doing something. Maybe that will become clear later on as to why that would be there. Maybe that was like a throttle return spring they tried to wire in. I don't know. But we're gonna find out. And I'm not going to be rough with this manifold because we may end up having to use it and fix it. I don't know. I'm doubting that there's probably very many new old stock 2844 manifolds circulating out there, so better be careful with what I got. Oh, baloney. This is one of those through hole heads, so it's going to leak antifreeze. Darn. Can I get a bucket under there? No, I can't. Okay. Let's turn this back in. Try to find us a... What I should have done in the first place, which I forgot, was drain the antifreeze. And it looks like the radiator drain has been serviced. However, does that mean it's going to come loose easily? I doubt it, but we'll find out. Now, you can see the issue here. If I want to go loose, that would be towards the back. So I'm going to try to clamp on a vice grip to hold back on this pipe. And again, I put you right in the way of where it would be handy to work. Okay. In theory, if it gets too squirrely, it will hit the frame. I don't even know that this is possible. I don't know. I think it should have been. It's a good thing it's not extended longer, because it would have hit something probably, but at the same rate, it would have probably been a lot easier had this been extended. Another impossible task that has been presented before me. It should just be so simple, and it never is. Ever. Never ever. Well, the correct procedure failed, so now what should we do? Take the hose clamp loose and let it eat? I'm thinking that looks like the best option. I really hate to take the water out because it hasn't been leaking at all, and I know when I let everything dry out, it'll start to leak like a sieve whenever you finally put her back together. Alright, well, I tried plans A through G, and none of that worked. So, now it's time for plan H, because life is too short. So, we're just gonna cause a leak. And we'll fix it later. I would say hoses are cheap, but they're not. But it's still cheaper than other options, which would be me getting very angry. And okay, got our bucket there. And it's gonna slowly drain, as per usual, because I cut it the wrong way. I should have cut it towards the back so that it sprayed in the back, but I didn't do that. It's always something. Well, let's go back to this. We're gonna just pretend that that bucket is catching everything, because it is, sure. And then we're gonna start on this, which is also gonna leak until it gets down below the level. It's getting below the level though, so it's fine. Probably why there were studs in there, so that one did not have that problem. Will this one leak too? It's probably not into the water jacket. It's probably just the intake ones. The 310 engine is like that too. There are some holes that go through to the water jacket, so you best be ready. All right, now, how hard is this gonna be to get off of here? I should have brought my auger. I'd rather not auze it off because it's marginal that it's gonna survive anyway. Oh yeah. All right, as suspected, this is the kind of stuff I figured was going on. And I'd almost bet you, see, there's a bunch in that one. A bunch. I would almost bet you that on top of one piston or more, there is garbage. So now the question remains, does a guy get the shop vac and stick it in each of the ports and see if he can suck out some garbage? But ultimately, I feel like we're still going to be pulling the head, unless I could get it to turn around and around very easily, in which case, you know, maybe we'd just try it, but I don't know. Let's get the shop vac and see what we come up with. All right, this job is going to suck, but that's what we want. So here we go. Might as well clean it up all over. I can hear stuff coming up from lower down. There's a lot. Okay, now I think my plan is I'm going to try to turn the motor backwards, and then I'll do the same thing again, and then keep going and see if I can get it to spin all the way around. But my thinking is that if I back it off, hopefully whatever valve was closed will open, and then let me get some more trash pulled out of it. We'll see if that works. If it doesn't, then I guess we'll just pull the head off and be done with it. But it's worth a try, so that's what I'm gonna do. Well, I'm getting it turned backwards, but I see sadness. Apparently, at some point, somebody rolled this pulley over on itself. So that's gonna have to come off now and figure out how to address that issue. Also, right now it affects me because I cannot get my pipe wrench on that nut from this angle and get another bite. So maybe I can grab a hold of this lip with something and bend it back around. I don't know, but it certainly would be easier with it off the tractor, but that's probably not going to happen right now, at least. So I don't know. It's shaping up to be another wild adventure, I guess, but we'll see what we can come up with. Somewheres I have the giant channel locks. That might be my better choice for folding that lip around. I could get it down in here like such. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Shoot. Oh, she's getting dry. Got another bite. I don't know. Maybe I can go forward now. If I just keep working it back and forth, spraying stuff down in the on top of the valves, maybe it'll go. Although my crank setup isn't the best either. Somebody has obviously run into it over the years moving the thing around. Alright. Well, we got some compression, I heard. But we're not in a good position for going backwards, which is what we need to do. Maybe I can get that lip bent down like this. It would also be super cool if it was warm and I didn't have to have this bulky coat on. That would probably be also nice. Probably would be cool if I would go actually find the right socket that fits this. Turns really nicely in the part where it turns really nicely. And there we go. Now's when I need the room, which I haven't got. Good grief, what in the name of Ernest and H. Ford Pounder is going on here? This is ridiculous. Totally stupid. There. No, you. What is the guy gonna do? Could try to hammer that home. That might actually work. If I could go get the auger. Using tools inappropriately, 101. Your pipe wrench can be a body fixer. Simply use it as a fulcrum. repeatedly. Well, that's more better. It might be enough for that I can get the wrench in now. Still ain't pretty, but hey, we'll worry about that later. Right now we're just in the mode of trying to get it to turn, which we're not having any luck at. Come on. There we go. There we go. There. We got another good bite. Okay, we should be getting about where we've come up from the high spot on both sides. There, we went through it. We went through it there. I'm sure we did. Because you could feel it get tight and then jump. Okay, so put some more lubing in the old sucker. Now we'll see if we can crank her around all the way. Alright, crank, let's go. Oh yes, I think we're gonna make it. Yep. Cool. Alright. We got her. Woohoo! It doesn't feel bad either. Yeah. Ooh, there we pulled up some trash. Let's get the sucker. Imagine how much better this would have been if I would have done it right away when I brought it home years ago. Infinitely better, probably. Almost makes a guy wonder whether he should pull the valve cover and check and make sure that all of that is correct. And then he also makes a guy wonder if he should go ahead and get that hose right away and fill it back full of water so that perhaps all of his packing in the water pump doesn't dry out. I think that's what he will do. Now, another interesting feature is this particular tractor had one of these link belts, which if you've never seen, you can hook them together and make yourself whatever length belt you want. It obviously tore at some point in its adventure, and that's fine. I'm not really a fan of that, so we will get us a solid one. Ooh, I see our water pump pulley. It's kind of rough. It's supposed to be the kind where you can slide it and squeeze it to make your thickness. So I don't know if that's gonna work, but supposedly this thing was running at one point before this collector put it in the shed, who I got it from. But I don't know. I have my doubts. It's pretty rough looking. It might have run, but it probably didn't run spectacular. I don't know. about out of that too. So I'm trying to figure out what my order of operations is going to be here. We need to track down some better manifold or something in order to even make progress on it, because what we got ain't gonna fly. We can look at it here if I can get positioned where. All right. Okay, so here's our manifold, still busted up, which, like I said, that box doesn't bother me as bad as wherever it is. This crack right there. Those cracks ultimately are what's going to disqualify this from running, because your intake has to not have holes in it or it'll suck air and get the wrong mixture. And I'm sure when I go to cleaning the rest of that garbage out, that's just going to flake away into nothing. That's my thinking. I might be wrong, but because I could probably patch the rest of it if I was careful. I don't know. I might chisel on it here a little bit and see what I can come up with. So I decided I'm going to disassemble it a little bit more. So this is actually after the fact bonus footage, but I'll videotape it anyway. We're going to see what's in here. I have not had this off yet. I got it loose enough. I think I can pivot it out of there to get it, maybe. Maybe not. Doesn't look like it's wanting to. As always, doesn't want to participate. Check that out. Full of trash. This thing looks like maybe it's got like horsehair in it or something. I don't know. Check that out. That's pretty neat, actually. Little metal tag. I wonder what that was, the part number. But we probably should keep this dry, because I'm betting that you won't find another one. There's what I'm looking for. I was trying to take this off and I could not find any progress. It's missing one bolt, so I'm hoping that it's not twisted off, that it's just somebody took a bolt out or whatever. But we need to get that bolt out. So I need to get my socket and get down in there, but get that off. You got a lot of room here to work and see. And then I don't know what else I'll take off. Probably the fuel tank, because I'm sure it's going to be a battle. It just, I don't know. There's so many things we don't know. We don't know about the clutch. We don't know. We just don't know. But we're going to find out, because like I said, this will be restored. So we just have to take it one step at a time. Okay, so I got it started to tack it back together. But it has been my experience welding cast iron with nickel rods that going slow is your friend. So that's probably all I'm going to do for a while, and let it cool down. And then I'll do a little more, maybe tomorrow, and just keep doing a little every day until I get this all sealed up. And it's still not going to be ideal. I would much rather find a different one. But you see, these are different than the other tractors. Like I said, my intake manifold bolts to the front of the exhaust manifold, whereas like the 90, it's more like a regular manifold where it's half and half on top of each other. I'm not saying that 90 one wouldn't work on here, I don't know, but the ones I found reproduction are like $1,000, and I don't know that I'm just ready to do that quite yet for something that I don't even know what the rest of the condition of the thing is. So I'd like to find a used one that was good. If somebody has one out there that they've been saving for some project that they're never going to get to, let me know, because I've got a lot of work ahead of me on this one. If I can get this all sealed up, then I'm going to have to build a box around here to contain the exhaust so that it doesn't, you know, otherwise, like now, it's just like running it with no manifold, open header type situation. So anyway, I'd like to do that, but I don't know. It's going to be very hard to find this, I would say. But let me know if you got one. Well, I'm afraid we're going to have to call that the end of this part because we got a lot of homework to do. But we did accomplish something, which I was worried about. I don't know. I was really afraid that we were going to pull the head off and find major trauma, but it doesn't appear to be that way. So what I'm going to do next is put the rubber hose back on, get a new one, fill it back full of antifreeze, I believe. I'll probably get a stud for that bolt so we don't have to worry about water shooting out at us. But I'd like to keep it hydrated because then all your packing and stuff seems to last. So that's what I want to do. Also, another thing I need, which I've mentioned several times whenever I've videoed this, I really need this cast piece here that bolts into the frame. It has 2 bolt holes. I mean, I guess I don't need it. I could make something, but I would rather have... Oh, you got my little tail on my coat in there. I would rather have the original if possible. So if anyone's got a crank assembly for one of these laying around, or just this piece at least, I am in the market for one. So let me know. My crank is bent, so I do need to try to fold this back out because it's obvious when somebody's been pushing on it. Like with a skid loader or something, they have folded her around. So anyway, that's another major piece I need in order to make the progress on this. And then we'll worry about pulleys and stuff later, but I do need, I don't know if I need it, but the would like list would be lower pulley, water pump pulley. Looks like both pieces are probably usable, but it sure would be nice to have them excellent. But we'll see. That's all not priority number 1 at this point. The big thing is to try to get her to run. So, you know, and I like stuff cleaned up, and I'm probably going to restore it anyway, so I may clean up on stuff and start fixing it up here as we go back together. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I'll do. I'm kind of ridiculous, but I want it nice, you know. I think these are sharp tractors. When they're all fixed up on full steel, they're very eye appealing. So anyway, I guess we'll call that the end of this one, and we'll pick it up here whenever I get more stuff. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment and say how much you liked it or hated it or whatever. Anything you do helps out my channel. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.